What's going on, STR Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Short-Term Rental Secrets Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Shogren, here as always with my main man and brother from another mother, Mr. Emmanuel Pani. Tell me what's up in Italy, dude.
Uh, you know, I just came back from Puglia. So for those of you that don't know, Puglia is the little hill part of Italy. I went there last summer, fell in love with the place quite a bit, and actually met somebody that listens to the show. His name is Sam, that lives in Italy, married to a girl from Puglia, and that's what we do. And so I went there, as I mentioned in the past, I have this desire to come back home and to establish myself here, similarly to how I did in the States. And so I went there to do some homework, to see the place, to see his partners, to meet people. And bro, one, I'm in love with the place. It's similar to Sardinia, a little bit different. And now I'm waiting for Sam to let me know what his plans are because my idea is to start running things over there and to start buying old Italian properties, renovate them, put them on Airbnb, and then sell them back to guests. That's the idea. I don't think I'm selling any proprietary business plan. This is kind of what we do. And so I don't know, bro. It was just satisfying to, after 14 years, being able to go somewhere, be able to add value to people's life in a way that it brings somebody to be like, yo, let's be partners, right? Like let's do something together because I see the value that you bring, and I'm always somebody that has led from love and service, and over time that is starting to like kind of pay off. So it's exciting, makes me very grateful because that was never the intention. I never started that relationship being like, oh, this may lead to a partnership, and I never started my journey in vacation rentals STRs being like, oh, eventually I'll be able to bring my skills to different part of the world and potentially like create a partnership. And so yeah, bro, it's just weird how life unfolds, but I'm so grateful.
That's the beauty of this business, though, dude. It's like what we talked about a couple weeks ago of building a business that serves you, and like you can do it anywhere. So, like for you, being able to do it back in the mother country, that's freaking awesome. You know what I mean? And then you get to go spend your summers over there like you've wanted to do for a while, which is amazing.
Yeah. So it's amazing, and like again, I feel super grateful, and then I've also been seeing a lot of friends and people that I haven't seen in like 15, 20 years, and I told Mike this is the worst baby fever I've ever had in my life, and it's interesting that it comes in this moment that I'm like single and by myself, and like I'm like all my friends are having babies and they're all like cute, like little girls with like bows, kind of like Cora, and I'm like, this is a problem. So I might go home and get a dog or something. So like I at least find a way to mitigate the situation. But again, bro, I feel so grateful and like so nourished, both from like a food perspective, because I mean eating home is just a different ball game, but mostly on the soul level. And as I said on the last show, I feel wealthier now than I have in a long time. Um, Even though I'm maybe not so financially, but spiritually and mentally, it's a different ballgame. And I finally get to see you in a couple of weeks when I get back to the States. Finally meet the kids. Maybe go to Disney Universal. I know you guys are the mayors over there, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So we'll be heading down to Florida in a couple weeks. We'll do the Disney Universal. I think I'm going to take them to the NASA site too, which would be really cool. But yeah, and I'm excited for what we're going to talk about today because it ties in. You wouldn't be able to spend a month in Italy, and I wouldn't be able to go unplug for 2 weeks or however long I want at this point in Florida if we didn't really have time freedom in the business and if we were stuck in the weeds of the business. And I've seen this theme a lot in the Facebook group, in the Short Term Rental Secrets Facebook group of people not drowning right now in busy season, but they're very, very busy and they're running around like crazy and they're talking about how they're working while they're on vacation and they're glued to their phone all the time and all that stuff, and I get it, but there's a better way to do it, and that's what I wanna talk about on this episode, and that's what we're really focusing on for the live trainings in the Short Term Rental Secrets Facebook group this month. If you don't know, we do a live training every single Wednesday inside the Short Term Rental Secrets Facebook group. It's live, it's with me. Typically, Mike Riley's on there as well. We'll probably have jump in there and do some as well, but it's just adding value. And the theme for this month is time freedom and helping you build a business that doesn't rely on you to trade your time for money. And so I want to walk through a framework that I put together years ago called Elevating to CEO. And it's a 7-step process that I use to get myself out of the operations of a business so I can focus on the business and enjoy doing things that I enjoy doing. And so the first step in that process is to define what your perfect week is. Now, if you have a job, that's fine. If you're full time in this, that's fine. It doesn't matter. But what I want you to do is map out if your business was at a point where you could work, say, 4 hours on it or less every week, how would you want to structure your time? And what would you want to be working on in the business and map that out? So just get very clear, like Monday to Friday or Sunday to Saturday, map out how would my perfect week look? What time am I getting up? How do I start my day? What am I doing around lunch? What does my morning look like on a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday? And really start to be intentional with how you're spending your time and get an idea of what you want to spend your time on. That's the first step. The second step is to know yourself and be honest with yourself. I say it all the time. E and I are two very different people. He loves the hospitality side of it. He loves interacting with guests. Like he gets joy out of that. That's not me, and that's okay. Right? Like I don't say that and I'm not ashamed of that. That's just not what lights me up. So understanding what are your strengths and weaknesses and what you enjoy doing versus what you don't enjoy doing and start to write that stuff down. Like, what are the things that are really sucking your energy right now? Maybe it's doing the books. Maybe it's managing cleaners and contractors. Maybe it is communicating with guests. Maybe you don't like dealing with any of that. Maybe you don't like doing the sales and the business development. Like, what are the things that you don't like doing that if somebody else came into your business that was good at it and enjoyed it, your life would get so much easier? So that's the second thing. The third thing is identifying what you need. So you do this by doing a 2-week time study. So we've got templates inside the Short Term Rental Secrets Facebook group. You can download, print them. And I got this from, remember Ken Eslick from the
Yeah.
M1 days?
Hmm.
He taught me this a long time ago and really how to manage my time. But you print out this sheet. It's just a simple template I made in Google Sheets, and it has 15-minute increments set up in this sheet, 7 days a week. And you print out two of them so that you can do it for 2 weeks. And every 15 minutes when you're awake, you're going to write down what you're doing. Every 15 minutes. And at first, it's going to feel extremely painful for the first day. And then after that, at least for me and for a lot of people that I've coached through this, it becomes a game and you start to get more efficient with your time. But the whole point of this exercise is when you're done with it, you're going to go back and review it and you're going to categorize where you're spending your time. Is it in the business, like mechanical work, talking to guests, talking to cleaners, coordinating maintenance, or reordering supplies? Is it working strategically on the business, right? Developing systems, SOPs, leadership, recruiting, business development, all of those things. Is it personal relationship stuff? Is it health and hygiene? Everything from showering and brushing your teeth, going to the bathroom, whatever. You're going to write everything down every 15 minutes that you're doing. And at the end of that, you're going to summarize how much time you're working in the business versus on the business. And we're going to come up with a list of all the things that you need to start delegating. And that's going to become your 4R or your job description for the first person that you're going to bring on your team.
I think before you go to the next one, what's important on that one, it's similar to when you start tracking expenses for a budget. The intention is for you not to be perfect at the beginning, it's for you just to bring awareness. Because one of the biggest things that I hear people say, and I saw this with Sam and his wife when I was in Puglia, because they're definitely in this moment, right? Of this kind of struggle because they don't have the team. And again, like in Italy, it's difficult to find good team members. And those can all be stories or can be truth. But I encourage them to do a time study. And these are people that I'm considering getting into partnership with for this specific reason. Because I'm like, hey guys, I don't care how you spend your time. I just need to know where your time is going and where the gaps are. Because again, if you tell me like, hey, like we don't have any time, okay, show me. If you're telling yourself, hey, I don't have any time, okay, show me. Right. And really becoming super, super clear. And again, the only thing that brings change is awareness. If you're not aware of something, you can't change something. and nobody's gonna judge you. And when you're doing this, don't do it from a perspective of like being hard on yourself or trying to be perfect. I need you to do it realistically. Because again, if you're gonna do it pretending, or you do the time study, you're like, oh, this I'm gonna be the best me for these 2 weeks. Then the data is not correct. Because then as soon as the time study is done, you're gonna go back to you. So really take this chance to really get to know yourself and really embrace an attitude of like curiosity as to like, hey, like let me be curious about like really like how am I spending my time? Am I being wasteful?
I thought I was a very efficient person, but every time I do this, I realize like, wow, I just wasted 45 minutes on Instagram.
And that's
Like, you know
easy
what I
to
mean? Just
do.
like little things or,
It's
wow,
easy.
why did I take a
Yeah.
25-minute shower when I could have taken a 10-minute shower? You know, just little things and it starts to gamify it. Or at least bring it to your awareness, like you said. Maybe that's your time. Like, you like taking a long shower to start or end your day, and that's how you get in flow. Cool. Like, just know that. That's fine. Right. But the key is to develop that awareness because most people that I talk to, they don't know. And I'm like, what are you spending your time on? They're like, I don't know. I'm just busy. Like, you can't do anything with that information. There's nothing to work off of. I can't help you with that. What are you being busy on? So this will
Hmm.
give you a lot of clarity. And then we use this to create your 4R document. This is something that I learned from Alex Sharfin years ago, where it's a job description, but we structure it with 4 R's. What's the role? What are the responsibilities? What are the results that this person is responsible for? And what are the requirements? The results piece is huge. So you're going to take that stuff that you got from your 2 week time study, and that's going to go into your 4R doc. But my life got a lot easier when I started to manage people by results, not tasks. Let me explain what I mean here. Most people that I talk to that are having challenges with their team or they feel like they're constantly task delegating, it's because they're not empowering somebody to own a certain result within the business. So, as an example, somebody that's on our guest support team, one of their results is they have to maintain a 4.8 review score or higher because that is within their control, especially on the communication side. So there are certain results that those people are responsible for, and you're giving them ownership. So your life gets easier when you start to manage by result instead of by tasks, right? At the beginning, I can guide them on what tasks they'll need to do to achieve that. But ideally, once they're up and running, I don't need to tell them what to do anymore. They're just responsible for this result, and we review our KPIs every week. So, are we hitting the result or not hitting the result? Are we moving in the right direction or the wrong direction? So, now that you've got your 4R doc done, we move over to step 5, which is to make sure that you've documented your systems. At least a fundamental of the things that are taking the most amount of your time right now based on your time study. So if you're finding you're spending a lot of time managing cleaners, as an example, okay, then start with making an SOP for how you manage your cleaners so that when you bring somebody on, you have a starting point for their onboarding, which takes me to step number 6, which is hiring and onboarding. The mistake that I made at the beginning when I went through 4 or 5 VAs before I found Mark, who's been with me, I don't know, for 5 years at this point. It wasn't them that was the problem, it was me. I had a unbelievable SOP playbook that in my mind, my 8-year-old could follow no problem. It was step by step with screenshots and videos and everything was documented. But the problem was I would hire somebody, I would send them this Google Doc and I'd be like, "Okay, this is what I need you to do. Go do it." And I wouldn't invest any time with them. I had no formal onboarding process. There was no schedule laid out for here's how we're going to onboard them. There was no thought process behind that at all. Now we have a 100-day journey that they go through and we onboard people in any of our businesses because we've mapped this out. So when you're hiring people, think of it like when you're designing and furnishing a property. You're going to spend a lot of time and money up front to get that return on the back end. And you got to be willing to make that investment, that deposit into your people at the beginning to get them up and running. So, a simple model that I use, we have it all mapped out on what we're going to focus on from start to finish. but I do, we do, you do. So the first time I'm teaching them something, I'm going to do it and they're going to watch me do it. The second time, we're going to do it together or they're going to do it with me. So I'm going to watch them do it and give them feedback and answer any questions. Then the third time, they're going to do it on their own and then I'm going to go review their work. So I do, we do, you do. And just that one simple framework, yes, it's a time investment up front, but your life will get way easier if you execute on that. So again, you're going to invest some time with these people for the first 90 to 100 days. However, that will pay you dividends going forward. And when you get somebody that's really good, I don't onboard people anymore. My team onboards them because they've been through the process. So I've developed leaders and managers in the business now who go out and recruit and onboard and train people. So that's step 6. The last step, step 7, is managing and leading. Your role as you continue to grow in this business is going to be very different than when you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 properties. When you get to 20 or even 10, 20, 40, 50, 100 properties, your role is constantly changing and you're not the one that's pushing the buttons anymore. You're not the one that's talking to guests anymore. You're not the one that's most of the time even talking to owners anymore. Like my owners go to my team now. They don't even come to me on the co-hosting side. So your role then transitions into more of a leader and a coach for your team. Your job is to develop your team into leaders and problem solvers. That becomes your role. And then what we do is we have a weekly all staff meeting where we go through, we have an agenda that we follow every single week where we go through any known issues, project updates, KPI review, and then we go through every single review if it's less than 5 stars. And we read the comments together to see, okay, what can we learn from this? How can we improve? The vast majority of comments I see from people that are complaining about negative guest reviews, yes, some guests are just not nice people and they're going to leave you a bad review even if you try hard. However, you should still review it anyway. You should still respond to the review anyway. And you should take an honest look to see, okay, maybe this person was a jerk, but is there any validity to what they said that I can fix so this doesn't happen again? So anything that's less than 5 stars that we review every single week as a team. We look at our review scores and we look at the actual reviews. And then that way we have our goals. We have revenue goals, occupancy goals, RevPAR goals for every property by month. And we review what's our budget versus actual every week throughout the month. So we know if we're on or off track. And we have this mapped out historically now for the last few years, but we also look a few months ahead. So how are we pacing for the next quarter versus where we are now? And your job at that point is to literally run the business by numbers and KPIs. If you were on an island like E and you had no internet, no access to anything, but you could just get one piece of paper every week, what would you want to see on that piece of paper to know if your business was moving in the right direction or not? And that's how we built our scorecard that we review every week. So all that I have to do is look at that and know if we're moving in the right or wrong direction. And that is how you elevate into CEO. I hope you're enjoying this episode of the podcast. We will get back to it in just a minute, but I wanted to share something with you about our Short-Term Rental Secrets Facebook community. If you haven't joined it yet, I've got 4 reasons why you should. First off, it's completely free. Second, we have some amazing resources in there. First, you're going to get our deal analyzing tool that I personally built and we have used to analyze thousands of deals all over the world for our mastermind students at this point. I want you to have that completely free because the worst thing that you can do is get into a bad deal. It's very hard to fix your way out of a bad deal. So you got to know your numbers going into that. And I've got a free training that you can use to teach you how to use that tool effectively. The second thing is I've put together a 6-part course on our Casper method on how I build businesses all the way from the beginning, how to set up my foundation, how to set up my entities, all the way through getting properties, automating, launching, scaling, hiring people. It is our unique Casper method that I use anytime I'm building a business. You'll have that completely free. Third, we have a live training every single week where it's either myself or one of our SDR Secrets coaches that are giving you free content, free actionable steps, and a chance for you to jump on and ask your questions to us directly, completely free. And the last, and arguably one of the coolest things that we started doing lately is we're posting free co hosting leads in that group every single day. So my team is going out and farming for these leads and posting them in the group for free for you to go and work those leads. And as part of that free training course that's in there, we'll show you how to go out and what to say, how to close those deals, how to onboard them, everything. So, again, if you haven't joined the Short Term Rental Secrets Facebook community yet, head over there, click the join button. It's completely free. I'll see you on the inside. And now let's get back to the episode.
And if you're listening to this, right, and you're in the weeds of it and you're like, well, I don't have any time, you don't have a choice.
You got to make time.
Yeah, because unless you want to because again, like life is hard regardless. Doing this is complicated. But living the life that you're living right now where you have no time for vacation and you're constantly on your phone answering messages, that's also hard. Right? So you got to pick your hard. The one thing with this is once you elevate yourself to CEO and you create the systems and the procedures and you have the team members around you, it actually starts becoming less hard. So that's the one promise that we have for you. It is we're not gonna sugarcoat it. Starting off the business and creating the systems and doing the thing and finding the right team members, it's going to be difficult. So is your life right now. But the one promise that we do have for you is that when you do set up the things, you on the other side, the reality of your life on the other side, it's completely different. And it's going to be worth it because the moment you can actually sit down with your kids and spend a whole summer where you're just reviewing and you're doing an hour team meeting once a week, and you're spending the rest of the time on the boat, on the beach, playing, doing the things that you want to do, you're going to come back to this episode and you're going to be like, you know what? It sucked. And there were days I was spending 5 or 6 hours creating SOPs and training people. And yet I am here now on the Cape, in Sardinia, whatever it is that you vacation. And you're like, I have actually been able to unplug. And if that's not your reality now, all good. Next summer, this can be your reality. And don't make yourself feel bad, but start now understanding and start now. You don't get to step 7 without step 1, 2, and 3, and then 4, 5, and 6. So if you're not here now, don't throw yourself a pity party. Don't be upset. Start with step 1, then move to step 2, then do your time study and bring awareness to the business the way it is now. And then if you have a high season and a low season, your low season is when you're going to blow things up. You're going to reconstruct everything and you're going to start creating things knowing, okay, I am never again. And this is the other thing, right? And Jamie Gruber told us this when he was on the show. I think the guy that was ex-CIA told him, right? Is you will default to your worst habits. So if you don't have the systems, your worst habits is what? I need to do it. And this is what I saw with Sam and Camilla. Sam and Camilla lost a couple, had all the intentions of expanding this business that way, and then lost a couple team members, and then they didn't have the bench to support their business. They didn't have extra people trained, and so they defaulted to their worst habit, which is what? Them doing everything. And again, guys, there is nothing wrong with that. But the reason Mike and I started this show is to help people reach financial freedom. If you don't spend time with your kids and you can't put your phone down, to me, you're not financially free. To me, that's not satisfying. To the vision that I have and what I want and what Mike wants for you, it's not satisfying. That is not what the standard is. Right? Would you agree, Mike? Like, I don't want people to be like, I started vacation rentals, and then every 2 seconds we're sitting at dinner and they're on their phone answering messages. Well, that's not what I wanted for you. I didn't want you to stop your 9 to 5 to be a slave to your phone 24/7.
There's 3 things that we help people do, you know, especially in the mastermind. People come to us, they want to get more properties, they want to get more bookings, and that's what everybody on the internet is marketing. Oh, get you more properties, all this revenue, all this other stuff. But the last piece is more time freedom. And that's what we're really good at. Really, really good at. And this month, inside the Short Term Rental Secrets Facebook group, I'm going to be doing live trainings where I'm going to break down all of these 7 steps and show you what my SOPs look like, show you what our 4R docs look like, show you what our KPI scorecards look like, show you what our meeting agenda looks like, and break down all of these for you for free that we charge a lot of money for in the mastermind, because I've seen so many people commenting in that group that they're stressed out and they're working on vacation. And you see all the memes online of like entrepreneurs on vacation on the beach with a laptop. Dude, I don't want to do that. I don't want the Gary V lifestyle of just grinding my face off. What is the point of that? If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But in my opinion, you're missing a lot of the juice of life. I want to be as efficient as possible to drive the best results and create a well-rounded, fulfilling life for myself and my family. That's what we do. And I don't have work-life balance. I have work-life integration, right? So like yesterday morning, Chris and I went on a date, took the boat out, went for a little morning cruise, came back, had some calls, did whatever. Today, I'm in the office. Tonight, I'm going to go play with my kid. A couple of weeks, we're going to be in Florida. Like, I mix work and play throughout the day. Like Wednesdays and Fridays, I'm on the boat for half a day and I'm working the other half of the day. And I'm good with that. That's what I like doing. The work that I do now is this. Believe it or not, this takes work to put all this stuff together between the podcast and the coaching and the events and the speaking. Like, that's what I spend my time on because I enjoy it. The properties are easy. I spend an hour a week, literally an hour a week on that now. It doesn't take up any amount of my time
But it
because
was
I've
a
took
purpose
the
effort.
time to build this infrastructure over years. So when people hear me say, I work an hour a week, they're like, BS, there's no way he's doing that. I'm like, I'll show you. Join the group. I will show you exactly how I do it. And you can ask anybody on my team and they'll all tell you the same thing. But you have to build it the right way. You have to be disciplined enough to create the systems, to create the infrastructure, to know how to hire the right person for the role. What question should I ask? Everybody that comes on our team now goes through a 3-part interview. First is a culture fit interview where we have questions to see if they're going to be a good culture fit. Second is a skills interview to ask them more technical questions. And third is a skills test. We've created some like mock tests and activities for them to do so that we can see if they actually know what they're talking about before we hire them. Just doing those little things will save you from making a bunch of bad hires. And I've learned that because I've made a bunch of bad hires. So I've just adjusted it over time. And I've hired business coaches over the years to help me navigate all this. Because if it was easy, everybody would do it. That's why Tim Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Workweek, is one of the best-selling business books of all time. Because that's what everybody wants, but nobody knows how to do it. This is how you do it. So if you haven't joined our free Short-Term Rental Secrets Facebook group, go join that and jump on the live trainings. We stream it in there, but then I actually post the link so you can jump on video with me and ask me your questions directly. So, who was it? Jerry Maguire? Help me, help you. Like, join the group. Go to the trainings. They're free.
But it's literally not just that. It's also like just people doing the same thing and people that are committed to creating systems. Like I wrote on a couple chats today of everybody wanting to know like what system do you use for cleaners? What system do you use for quality control? Like we have went through a couple. We found one. We use Breezeway. We love it, and like we share it with people, and like people like that is valuable input.
But you got to know how to use the tool too, right?
Oh,
Just
100%.
because you got the right tool doesn't mean you know how to use it effectively, right? We use Monday to run a lot of our stuff. And so we created Monday board templates for the students. So like students in the mastermind, it's like, hey, here's all the templates. Just use these, right? That's the easy button. You can go and create them or you can pay for the easy button, but you got to know how to use the tools. And the tools have to solve a certain problem. The challenge, the amazing thing with this industry is it's still so new. There's always new technology and it's easy to get shiny object syndrome. Oh, should I get this PMS? Should I get this marketing tool? Should I get this? Should I get this? I don't know. Is that a problem for you in your business right now? If it's not, don't try and fix it because it's not broken. Just use what you're using.
Yeah.
So if you've been feeling stuck in the weeds in your business, there is a way out. There's a proven process that works. And again, I'm going to be covering it in depth, in detail, showing you behind the scenes of what all of our tools and templates look like that you can take and implement in your business so that you can actually enjoy the fruits of putting all your time in to build this thing. So hope you got some value out of this one. You may want to watch this one a couple times, and you definitely want to join the Short-Term Rental Secrets Facebook group. Get involved in there. We're pushing 8,000 members, and we're doing live trainings in there every single week. So hope you guys have an amazing week, and I will talk to you soon. Hey, STR Nation, if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave us a review. And in the comments, let us know what topics you want us to cover on upcoming episodes, and we'll make sure to get that in the books for you. And if you really want to learn how to launch, automate, and scale your short-term rental business, if you want to go deeper, then check out our free masterclass at strsecrets.com.